Alright, I am doing the Balkans region migration after World War II. A little bit of background: the region was a powder keg of races and nationalities throughout time. It was ruled by the Ottoman Empire from the 1400s to the early 20th century. Two Balkans wars were fought there in the early 20th century. The first one was to get rid of Ottoman rule over the region, and the second one was against Bulgaria because Bulgaria wanted to rule over the other smaller nations. During Ottoman rule, the region was traditionally Christian, but it further diversified under their rule. Over the next 600 years, the Albanians and the Bosnians would particularly convert to non-Muslim, to being Muslim. Ottoman occupation of Serbia caused Serbian migration to other parts of the Balkans that were traditionally not Serbian. The other parts were Bosnia and stuff like that. Bosnia was it would later play a big part in the early 90s during the Bosnian War because the Serbians, it would create a bigger populace of Serbians in Bosnia. Following World War II, the Germans, people were pretty much out for blood from the Germans. The Germans were had done terrible atrocities throughout this region, specifically against Serbians, Jewish people, and Roma Gypsy. So a lot of them wanted revenge. Over 350,000 Germans fled Yugoslavia, most of them the coming months after World War II ended. And a lot of Germans fled Romania in between 1950 and 1992. This migration of Germans in Romania was slow because at that time the borders were pretty strict. There was the Berlin Wall and all that, so a lot of people couldn't get through to different countries. Turkish. There was a significant Turkish presence in the Balkans region because of the Ottoman Empire's presence for 700 years. After World War II, a lot of communist ideology was that of no religion, and they wanted to assimilate Turkish people into their country, and it worked largely. Greece and Turkey had a population exchange leading to 700,000 Turkish people being forced to go to Turkey. And likewise, it was Greek people getting returned to Greece as well. In the 1990s, there was a huge conflict, the biggest conflict that mainland Europe has seen since World War II. The disintegration of the former Yugoslavia led a huge migration and displacement of people. With the collapse of socialism and the conflict between 1991 and 1995, there was a huge movement of people in Croatia. The war started off with many Croatians fleeing because the Serbians were under the Yugoslav army were committing horrible atrocities in 1991. But then the war would turn by 1995 with NATO bombing against the Serbians. So the Serbians lost, and with Operation Storm, over 210,000 Serbians were forced to migrate to the Serbia. The conflict in Bosnia was that of horrible genocide and led to huge displacement of people. Many of these refugees would be sent internationally, over 130,000 coming to America in 1995. The vast majority of these were the Muslim faith. At the time, Western Europe was largely against migration flow from the Balkans. An estimated 40% of Muslims, of people of Bosnian ethnicity, currently live outside of Bosnia due to this crisis in the 1990s. The Kosovo conflict was that of between Albanians and Serbians. Over 500,000 fled in 1999. Many of these would go to Albania or Macedonia. Due to the expansion of the European Union is that of much wealth and greatness, and the Balkans region is largely poor country. So a lot of educated people and people with skill took the opportunity and have left for the Schengen zone, which is passport-free European Union. Here's a picture of the Balkans Peninsula. You can see it encompasses a lot of traditionally poor nations. Like for example, there's Bosnia, there's Kosovo, and there's Serbia, and there's Bulgaria. Here's the European Union. You see it's largely rich nations. It's starting to come into the Western Balkans, but in France, Europe, England, all first world countries. Here is refugees from the Bosnian War. Here's people from Albania. It was over 15,000 went to Italy in one day. Well, that concludes my presentation. Thank you.